Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. In today's video, I wanted to talk about the concept of having one large website versus having many niche sites. And this is a great question that we received from Enzo. And Enzo commented on our last video, the Harpa AI video, where he basically said here, he says, hey, I love the idea of building a community and monetizing through multiple income streams, including paid membership, affiliate marketing, and even merch. But I have a long-term mindset. I mean, my goal is to start building something now that I see myself doing in 30 years, or more to picture it. I called that the empire mindset, building a strong community around strong values, etc. In a niche where I can indefinitely create content that provides value and matter to me, something that keeps evolving as time passes so that I can focus on multiple traffic sources and adapt as the marketing changes. I'm not sure if that's a good strategy. You said you own 40 websites, and maybe it's a better strategy. Honestly, I don't know what to do. By the way, thanks for your value that you provide. Enzo, this is a phenomenal question because a lot of people are not 100% sure what they should do. And like I said, this was a video that we had posted yesterday with our Harpa AI keyword generator video, which if you haven't seen it, it's a decent video. You should go ahead and check it out. But let's go ahead and talk about that, right? One massive website or multiple or many niche sites. The thing about understanding that when you create your first blog, that first blog post is your main site. That's your main focus. And even if you were to create multiple websites, most people should not be creating multiple websites at the same time, especially if it's your first website. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with creating multiple websites at the same time. There's no harm in that. There's nothing wrong with that. There is no shame in that. But what happens is that it takes some focus. And the more websites you have in the beginning, right, the more focus you have to input. And you might not have that focus readily available to you. You might have to sacrifice other things. But I could say pretty confidently that within most people's lives today, they can go ahead and start one niche site and succeed with that one niche site by sacrificing, X amount of time to get into it. And to give things a further approach to understanding, you said that you wanted to build a community and you find interest in making passive income with multiple streams of income. Well, you can do that with one website, and that one website will be your main focus. There's a lot of benefits to having one main website to focus on. And the niche site building approach, where we have multiple niche sites, doesn't take away from that. In fact, it adds to it. In fact, it also moves along with it or in flow with that. When you have a niche site or one singular niche site, kind of like the one you guys see here, this is a niche site that's growing. Right now, it requires a certain amount of effort that other sites that have already passed a certain threshold don't need. And my goal with all my niche sites is to provide an income for me, a passive income. They don't have to necessarily be thousands of dollars, even though a lot of my blogs do. They don't have to be thousands, but they have to provide something. After they provide that set income that I'm satisfied with, I move on to the next site and to the next site and so on. This keeps things fresh for me. So you're saying that there's a lot of things that you want to share within your blog. That's perfectly fine. But what you're going to realize is that from a Google's perspective, right, you will not be deemed an authority in a specific niche unless you have the authority to speak on it, which is more and more content created in that specific niche. And the more content you create in that specific niche over a longer period of time, you're going to garner more reputation, you're going to get more backlinks, you're going to get more traffic, you're going to get more things associated with the growth of your website. So what can you do, right? What should you do? The dilemma. Should I create one massive website that has everything that I'm interested in? Or should I create a bunch of small sites? The first step is create one site. But don't create one site with everything you're interested in. Keep it down to one specific niche. if you haven't seen our niche video, okay, we have this video stored in the free course membership. Go to cashcownichesites.com, hit the free blogging course button, and you'll get taken to the course. It costs $0.00. You're going to sign up. And one of the topics within the course is finding the niche, okay? And you're going to have to learn, right, in that course episode, where when you create your niche, what you're doing is you're creating a topic, a subtopic of a large umbrella. And in your case, Enzo, that large umbrella is all of your interests. But right now, you're picking a subtopic, okay? If let's just say you're into weightlifting, you're into personal development, you're into finance, and you're into something else, I don't know, let's say dating and relationships. Let's say those are your focuses in life. You don't want to have one article on dating and relationships, 3 articles on finance, and 1 article on weightlifting. That's not going to help you from a blog perspective. If you started off your blog solely around one concept, right, whether it be dating and relationships or finance or weightlifting or whatever it was, you have a much larger chance of succeeding from a Google's perspective. Now, that's the first thing. That's the first umbrella, right? The second thing is that now you have multiple monetizable assets. That's the second thing. When you have multiple websites, you have multiple monetizable assets. What does that mean? Well, it means that if you create a website and you build it up, you have one website producing for you an income, you have another website producing for you an income, and you have a third website producing for you an income. But the thing, like I said, that seems like you're getting confused on is you don't want to start with multiple right away. That's a big mistake, especially if you've never built a website before. And I understand, like I said, the passion and the drive you have. But what we see long term is that people who are committed to a task are the ones that succeed, and those who write for themselves are the ones that fail. And what I mean by that is if you write for yourself what you want to do, most likely your readers are not going to be interested in that. You have to put yourself in your reader's shoes. So think of it this way. If I'm a reader and I come into your website for weightlifting advice, I don't want to see articles on dating. Even though that might interest me from another creator, I don't want to see that in your necessary blog or your blog. What you want to do is you want to seize the moment. And what that means is, carpe diem, seize the moment, is when a reader comes to your website, you need to overwhelm that person with a number of resources related to what they came to you for. And what that does is that provides you a better opportunity to produce an income in that specific niche. Okay? Now, when you create these multiple websites, like I said, I alluded to this earlier, but you start with one at a time, and you give all your focus to one at a time. You don't start more than one at a time, especially for a blogger that is not seasoned. And the reason why I say that is because there are certain times you're going to pick topics that don't necessarily benefit you from a traffic standpoint. You are going to create blogs that don't really help from an SEO standpoint. That's going to happen, right? And so what happens is if you have multiple websites that you're working on and you create multiple mistakes, it starts to become discouraging. One of the things that makes blogging really easy, especially at this point where where I'm already getting traffic on a smaller website like this, is that, well, I passed the Great Divide, and the Great Divide is the ability to generate traffic. If your website can start to generate traffic, you've passed the Great Divide. You've now proven to yourself that, hey, my website already now gets clicks. It might not be a lot of clicks, but it's getting clicks. And these clicks have value. And if this website is getting 100 clicks, it can get 200. And if it's getting 200, it could get 400. And if it's getting 400, then it could get 5,000. And if it's getting 5,000, it could get 20,000. And I don't get, like I said, too hung up on the number of clicks. What I get hung up on is the content that's needed for the reader. So, for example, if you go to howtoboosttestosterone.org, we have a lot of different concepts here. So, for example, we have an article here about Trenbolone, right? And it says Trenbolone, everything you need to know. Well, in my mind, if somebody wants to learn about Trenbolone, they might want to learn about Anavar. Another person might want to learn about Winstrol. Another person might want to learn about Decodurabolin. Another person might want to learn about something else. So Dianabol, there's so many different things. So me as a creator, I will provide content for that specific arena, right? Or that specific area to solve all the needs or to satisfy the needs of my reader. And what happens is when I complete all the things that I want to complete for this specific blog and I see that it's getting traffic, my work is being verified from a Google endpoint, I can look and say, okay, I've done all this work. I can't think of another article that I would want to add to my repertoire. And of course, there's an infinity number of articles you can add, but obviously, if you're doing the niche site method where you have multiple niche sites, you're going to want to keep it to a certain number. And when you look back at your work and you say, okay, I fulfilled my task here, I fulfilled what the reader may need here, what you do then is you go back into your articles and you find ways to improve them. After you find ways to improve them, what will happen is the overall ranking of your website will move higher for every listing. Whether, let's say you're habitually in anywhere from position 9 to position 6, let's say, right? You're getting traffic, but you could be getting a lot more. After you complete all those articles, you improve all of them as well, right? Over time, instead of holding rank 6 to 9, you might hold now rank 3 to 5, right? So you've improved there. And once you go through that phase of improvement, you can now make a decision. And that decision is to go on to the next niche site, as this one is providing a steady income for you, or you can go ahead and continue expanding on the one that you currently have by moving into another sub-niche in your blog. Does that make sense? And so if you, let's just say, have a blog about self-mastery in all aspects of life, because that might sound like what you're talking about with your values and your ethics, etc., right? If that's what you're going to do, you're going to start off with one concept. You're going to build it out. You're going to create your blog posts. You're going to move in that direction. You're going to create as many blog posts as you possibly can in that arena. You're going to improve them. You're going to get higher ranking. You're going to see an income stream. You're going to see multiple income streams. You're going to rank higher on Google. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make that decision. Should I now move into another sub-niche in my blog? Or should I go ahead and move in and create a new website for my new other niche that I want to talk about? And once again, guys, the most important thing to understand when creating your blog is that you're not creating a blog for yourself. You're creating a blog for your readers so that you can get paid. And your readers need valuable information in that topic. They don't need 100 different topics. They need that specific topic, and they need an expert on that topic, and so does Google in order to rank you. Okay? So what happens is you'll realize over time that you don't have to be passionate about something fully to be able to make income from it. Let me explain. I have many different blogs. I have a very large portfolio. At one time, it was even larger, okay? And through this large portfolio of blogs, there's many blogs, many sites, I should actually say, many niche sites that I don't necessarily have a dying passion for, a burning desire for. I'll give you a perfect example. A few years ago, maybe 3 years ago or 2 years ago, I sold a blog on a goldfish training guide. So how to train your goldfish. And if you ask me, are you passionate about goldfish? I'll tell you no. I have no passions about goldfish. I have no passion to train goldfish. I have no passion in any of that arena. But after you do enough blog posts on things that you are passionate about, you understand the business model behind it. And you understand that you can produce an income from a specific niche. And when you see that niche that's open for business, I guess you could kind of say, where there's less competition, you go after that niche and you make money from it. And that's exactly what I did, and I don't regret that. And what I did was I created blogs in that specific niche, I had a virtual assistant help me out, also create more blogs for me, review the website, etc. And keep in mind that I have multiple websites, so I can't do everything alone. In your case, if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 websites, you could do that alone pretty easily, okay? And I speak from experience. And what happened is after a certain point in time, it kept producing a decent income. It was steady income. I decided I don't need this website. I don't need to keep adding to it. It's time to sell. And I took the website and I sold it. And I walked away with a very, very good profit. And for those who are curious or interested, when you have a content-based website and you're trying to sell that website can sell for anywhere from 3 to 6 times the yearly profit. So if your yearly profit is, let's say, $20,000, 3 times to 6 times yearly profit, right? You could do the math on that. But that's an example of what you can do. And like I said, the most important, the overwhelming reason that we create multiple niche sites as opposed to one is because since we are going to create content in different niches and different areas, it's important to understand that we're not creating ourselves as an authority in Google's eyes when we talk about all kinds of different subjects. That's not the approach. And frankly, that doesn't lead to long-term success with Google. All right. So hopefully this video helps out. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace out. Bye.